of the season. Black cohosh. Black cohosh is really pretty. I used to have these growing on the side of my house all the time. This is not a very good picture, but they have these real pretty blooms. And people always say, oh, where'd you get that really pretty flower? And it wasn't really a flower, it was an herb. But where black cohosh grows is between two climates. So you will see black cohosh right at the edge of the woods. You don't find it in the middle of the field. You don't find it in the middle of the woods. You find it right on the edge between the two. Black cohosh helps women change between being fertile and going through menopause. It's also very good for a child to get her into going into puberty between two climates of her life, two seasons of her life. Black cohosh is helpful. It actually contains a pseudoestrogen in it, or some people call it phytoestrogen. Okay, do you have any comments on
No,
this?
I don't. Mm-mm.
Very easy to grow. Very, very easy to grow, and it comes up year after year after year. Okay, also, it's really good to eat foods that grow in your area. For instance, Joanne could eat oranges and grapefruit all year long because she lives in Florida where it's nice and warm. If we eat these foods up north in the wintertime, oranges and grapefruits and tangerines and stuff like that slightly thin the blood. We need, just like you have a car, you need to change the oil from heavy oil to light oil, depending on the temperature. Well, our body's kind of like the opposite. That we need thinner oil or thinner blood in the summertime than we do in the wintertime. If we have thin blood in the wintertime, we get cold really easy. We cannot tolerate the cold very well. If we have thick blood in the summertime, we cannot tolerate the heat. Anything you want to say about this?
Well, just that because I live in the cold region, I'm up here by Yellowstone National Park, which gets pretty dang cold. And in the wintertime, I change my vitamin C to rose hips.
Right. Because rose hips is found local in your area. And that's I tried to do that as well.
Mm-hmm.
So remember, look around. God has provided for us what we need. And I'm going to say something else that is pretty cool. Probably about 8 or 9 years ago, I was coughing all the time whenever I was teaching my classes. I had terrible time with my lungs, and I couldn't figure out what it was. It ended up being black mold. But I had lived in the house that I lived in my whole entire life, except for 3 years when I was married. The rest of my life, I lived in that house. Across from the house, whenever my lungs were real bad, across from the house, for the first time ever, we developed a lot of mullein. We never had mullein growing there ever before. And it grew the year that I needed it.
Wow.
Is that cool or what?
That is cool.
Now, that could be a coincidence, but some people say the coincidence is a miracle where God decides to stay anonymous.
Absolutely.
I don't know what it was, but it was pretty cool. And by the way, after my lungs were doing better, it didn't grow there anymore.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I don't know if that's a coincidence. That's kind of weird.
That was stinking cool. That was really
Right.
stinking cool.
There's a question before we go on.
Mm-hmm.
Would there be more heart attacks or heart problems in the winter or summer, or no difference?
Well, it all depends where you live. Up here in the north, because people wake up in the morning and they see all that snow and they go, oh, well, I'll eat breakfast for it. And they eat a big breakfast, and they go out and they shovel. There's a lot of people that they'll warn once in a while in the wintertime, don't shovel after a large meal because you could take a heart attack. You know, there's a lot of these people that sit behind a desk and they don't do a lot of physical activity, and they have to shovel themselves out so they can drive to that desk job. So up north, there seems to be a lot of heart attacks in the wintertime. And I didn't answer that question. What was the question again?
And it says, would there be more heart attacks or heart problems in the winter or summer, or no difference?
I think the cause of the heart attack would be different. Usually, whenever you eat, your body produces lactic acid as breaking down the foods. So your body's pH will go up a little bit. That's why you don't take your pH right away right after you've eaten, because it's not going to be very accurate. So I think that probably the cause of a heart attack in the wintertime is acid. And then, strain, of course. In the summertime, it could be the blood's too thick, or it could be that your potassium has gone down really low because you sweat. So I don't know if there's more or less, I have no idea, but I think the cause of the heart attack would be different in the summer compared to the winter. Okay, ginseng. We're talking about seasons too. If you plant a ginseng plant, and it's a very simple plant, the first year you have a ginseng plant, you just have that. That's all there is to it. 3 little leaves on the end of a little skinny, slinky stem. If you take that root, it does nothing for you. It takes time for the ginseng to get its full potency, at least 7 years. And I can't remember how many different sprays of leaves, of the 3 leaves, 7 years is. I used to know that, and I just can't remember. But it takes time. Ginseng isn't something you could just harvest the day that you plant it. It takes 7 years. Well, they found out that ginseng is very good for longevity.
I know too that mostly they use the root, but the whole thing can be used.
That I did not know.
Yeah. The normal thing that they use is the root, but the entire plant can be used. I also found out that wild ginseng used to thrive in the eastern seaboard, like from Maine to Alabama, west up to Michigan, Wisconsin, and Minnesota. Do you guys have it there in Pennsylvania?
Oh, my goodness, yes. Matter of fact, Cambria County is where I used to live. And Cambria County ginseng was the most sought after ginseng in all the world, American ginseng, wild ginseng. Because of our winters, we would have, in the summertime, we have hot weather. We have 90 and 100 degree weather. In the wintertime, sometimes it would get so cold that they had to cancel school because the diesel in the buses would freeze. So there's a variety from hot to cold, and then because we're so high, the altitude, it is the most sought after ginseng in the world.
Wow.
Wild American ginseng, that is. There's a lot of different kinds of ginseng. But I only knew the root.
Yeah, that's what I read. I read that although the root is the most common, the entire plant is usable. I also found out that it boosts energy, lowers blood sugar and cholesterol levels, it reduces stress, promotes relaxation, treats diabetes, and it also treats sexual dysfunction in men.
Yep. And if you put it between your lip and your tooth, it helps tone up the gums. If you have, I want to say gingivitis. Is that what it's called, gingivitis?
Uh-huh.
Okay. In the teeth. I didn't know you could use the whole plant, though, man. We would just, because we could get, this is years ago. This is like maybe 20 years ago. You could get $295 a pound of Cambria County ginseng.
Wow.
But whenever you dry the root out, it takes a lot of root to make a pound.
Right.
You don't have just one root.
So someone's asking, how much should you take?
It all depends what you're taking it for. Ginseng is one of those longevities. It's something you take long term, a little bit every day rather than megadose. So I wouldn't take like 30 ginseng to take care of something, any of the problems that Victoria mentioned. What most people do would take, I I always use the tea because I raised my own ginseng. But I'm thinking probably about 4 to 6 capsules a day. I'm just trying to convert my tea into what the capsules would be. Probably
Right.
about 4 to 6 capsules a day, and just do it every day rather than megadosing on it.
Does Nature Sunshine have ginseng?
It does.
I would just
It has
follow what says on the
3
bottle
or
then.
4 different kinds of ginseng, actually. It
Oh,
has
wow.
Hoshu Wu, which is a type of ginseng. It has wild American ginseng, and it has whatever it's called, the
Oh,
Siberian.
Yellow Yeah, the
Yeah,
Yellow. I can't say anything.
I don't want to say it either. I used to like when I
Well,
could just.
I can say them. I just can't get my mouth to go over my braces to get my
Well, I
lips to
better
do
not
what
ever
I
get
want.
braces on my teeth. I don't have any of my teeth to put braces on, but if I did, because I can't talk now, and I
Oh,
have no
brother.
excuse.
Hmm.
And by the way, there's only one way for you to be able to start a ginseng plant from the seed. The seeds look like little pebbles, like a little stone, and it has to stratify. So you either have to freeze it in a freezer for a couple weeks, or live somewhere like we lived where it gets frozen to crack it, or it'll never sprout.
Is it is it an ephedrine it's a steroid?
Ephedrine. There you go. Ephedrine. Thank you
Ephedrine.
so much.
Hmm.
Ephedrine